Alright, so now this is lesson 4.2. We are still going to use the same formula to solve these problems, and so it should be straightforward. Again, remember that the formula is original O plus X% O equals F. Right? What does the O mean? The O means the original amount, and X% might be increase or decrease of something, and then of the original amount is equal to the final amount. Right? It's because we always start with the original and then we do something to it. We might be adding, right, tax, there might be a discount, and then we get the final amount. So the same thing with this problem, right? It's a little bit slightly more challenging. It says a coat originally cost $200. After a discount of X%, the final cost of the coat was $180. What was the percent discount? Okay, so this time, again, all we're going to do is use the formula and see, okay, what can I plug in? Do I know the original amount? Yes. So I start with $200, right, plus, do I know the discount? No. It's X%, right, of the $200. Do I know the final amount? Yes. After the discount, it's $180. Okay. So what am I going to do now? Well, obviously I want this X% to be alone, and I recommend don't deal with the percent. Just leave this alone. Kind of like a box. Just like a variable. Right? I'm going to try to make this alone and deal with it later. So how do I, right, undo this? Well, let's write this as 200 plus X%. Right? Of just means multiplication of 200. Is equal to 180. Okay, so if I'm solving for x, do I first, right, undo the multiplication, or do I undo this, technically, addition of 200? Well, from Mr. Rasovic or Mr. Ovaya's class, we should know that we want to do reverse PEMDAS, so we should deal with this guy first. So I'm going to subtract 200 from both sides, so that cancels. Now I have X% of 200 is equal to negative 20. Okay, and then how do I do or undo multiplication of 200? I would divide by 200. So this would cancel. Now I have my X% alone. And so I have negative 20 over 200. I could reduce this and all that, that's fine, but what does percent, now that I have this alone, what does percent mean again? It means x, whatever that number is, divided by 100. So now I just have a really basic proportions problem, but if you could maybe, right, if you want to, we could cross multiply like at this point, but I could also divide by top and bottom by 10 so that zeros disappear. I could also divide the top and bottom by 2. What would I get? I would get x over 100 is equal to negative 2 divided by 2, negative 1, divide this by 2, I would get 10. Well, now let's cross multiply and see what we get. X times 10, I would get 10x is equal to 100 times negative 1, negative 100. Divide both sides by 10, and therefore x is equal to negative 10. And what does that x mean again? That x means X%, so I get negative 10%. Huh. Why did I get negative 10%? That's a little bit strange. It's because at the very, very beginning, right, the problem says it's a discount of X%, but I wrote plus X%. So if I plug this 10% or negative 10% back into, right, this original equation, I would get 200 minus 10% of 200, which makes sense because I'm taking away or having a discount of 10%. So the idea here is that it's okay if it's X%, right? I don't know what it is, then it's okay to put plus. But if you do know that it's a discount, and if I put a minus here, my answer would have been a positive 10%. So just keep that in mind, but the idea, right, that's a lot of information right now, but when we start with this problem again, start with the, right, equation original plus X% of the original equals final, right? And it kind of looks like a tic-tac-toe thing, right? It looks like O, right, and then X, and then O, and then equals the final, right, like my result, right? So I'm just adding and then putting percent. In any case, okay, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I recommend in these problems where you don't know the percent, leave the percent alone until the end, try to make it alone, and then deal with it. So we'll do some problems together right now.